we started at First African, that's where the police and the dogs go get us out. So they shot water all in the church and all around the church where we could get in or out.
I could barely see, but I saw the tear gas canister when it hit the window, the stained glass windows in the church. And that tear gas canister exploded in the church.
Everybody can get their hands on it. They beat them with a baseball bat, billy clubs, brass knuckles and whatnot. And when I got here, the back door, women's, men's, boys, everything was just all laying on the floor upside the wall and all out out there. See, the only way they can go is this way. They couldn't go any other way.
On June 9th, 1964, there was a march for civil rights in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. More people went to jail that day than on Bloody Sunday in Selma. More people went to the hospital that day than on Bloody Sunday. It was a day in Tuscaloosa history that would come to be known as Bloody Tuesday. One of the leaders of that march was the Reverend T.Y. Rogers, Jr.
In about 1963, my father was called to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to be pastor of the First African Baptist Church. I was a little girl and had no idea what was going on. I remember getting in the car at night and going to sleep and then waking up in Alabama.
Reverend E.O. Jones, I believe, contacted Dr. King and told him they were looking for a pastor. And Dr. King wrote them a letter and told them he had a young man that he would love to come back south. He said, if I can get him to move back south, he will be good for Tuscaloosa, and he will be good in the movement.
Tuscaloosa was building a new courthouse. The county commission had promised the African American community that there would be no segregated facilities. When George Wallace dedicated the courthouse, the African American community learned that those promises had not been kept.
At that time, when they built the courthouse, they promised that it wouldn't be no colored fountain, no colored restroom.
So when went there, they found out that it said restrooms downstairs. Drinking fountain, you still have white colored drinking fountain. So we told them that the officer said it's gonna be integrated. So then they said, if you don't do that, we're gonna march on it. We're gonna picket. They said, you're not gonna march on it. You're not gonna picket.
There was a mass meeting every Monday night at First African Baptist Church. The movement had already begun with the boycott of the downtown stores. Now their attention would turn to the courthouse. A decision was made to march on June 9th, 1964.
So when they got ready to march, Police Marble and his group came in the church, told them, say, we told y'all you're not gonna march, you're not gonna march. They went back out. So Reverend Rogers got up and told them what he said. He said, but we're gonna march, I don't care what they say. They said they're gonna arrest us if we march. If they arrest us, don't y'all stop until you get to the courthouse.
After prayer, the Reverend Rogers led us out the church. And I guess I was maybe 4th, 5th, 6th seats from the front of the church. And we fell in right behind Reverend Rogers. And when he marched out of the church and got to the sidewalk, police chief put him under arrest. But our order was to go to the county courthouse, drink out the colored fountain, white fountain, and go to the white bathroom.
And there was so many people on the outside, and they were screaming all kinds of stuff, out there.
And we was taught that if you have a female with you, you take her down and cover her up, protect her as best you can. And at that time, I heard a shout from the white folks, and I don't know where it came from, but it says, "Get them niggas." And they charged us. I was trying to get the person, the lady on my left, to go down, and she was slow by getting down. And by the time she went down, I looked up and I saw, I don't know, it was baseball bat or nightstick or whatever it was. It hit me right there, and it just split that all the way back to here.
And somehow I got pushed into the hedges, and they wouldn't let the rest of them go by, so I just went around. And I went around, and I was able to go on downtown.
The police came in there with the hose pipe and shot water all in our church, all up in the pulpit, around the pulpit, and then went downstairs and shot tear gas in there. And then when I looked up again, there was some old dogs coming in.
The sheriff had called on locals to bring their clubs and help stop the marchers. Many of those locals were Klan. One was a man named Barr. Barr owned slum houses and 4 stores in a poor neighborhood called Barr Quarters.
It wasn't nothing but the KK, and they go beat us up. And Jeff Barr, I could see him right now. So he grabbed me, and I grabbed him. Boy, I got on there on him. Just like I got my fist. And I pulled it down there. But I couldn't bite it off. I tried, but I couldn't. Because it was too short for me to grab it and pull it. And so he went on. He said, "I'm gonna leave with that alone." I said, "Right, you better get your ass because you ain't gonna walk no more. And you sure ain't gonna have no more children."
As soon as we got downtown, there was some white people standing there, and they kind of blocked the sidewalk. And when they blocked it, we just pushed through. And when we pushed through, then there was some 2 police coming, but they were university police, and they just walked us down to the jail.
Well, as my record shows that 97 people was arrested. We had record shows that my record shows 35 people was accepted. More people than that went to the hospital, but they treated 35. Some of them they said they treated 35.
Some months later, members of the Tuscaloosa Civil Rights Movement marched peacefully to the county courthouse and drank from the water fountain that was no longer the white-only water fountain. Their nonviolent protest had pushed Jim Crow out of their courthouse and helped usher in a new day. And one of the leaders who helped usher in that new day was Reverend T.Y. Rogers, Jr.
I didn't want him to come back. I always said to him, if you're in the East, you're in Philadelphia, you're doing fine. Why do you want to move back into all of this turmoil in the South? And he said, because my people need me, Betty.
Blood was shed in the struggle for civil rights and for the right to vote. We asked Mrs. Odessa Ward to offer a final thought.
Well, I would like to say this. I love peoples, and I hope they love me, because I did what I could do in Tuscaloosa. And they say I did a good job here. I don't know. But I tried to help peoples. But I'm asking the peoples from my heart, don't sit on the porch. Don't look out the windows. Don't ride around in your cars blowing the horn. It's time y'all to get up off your behinds and vote. Make sure you go out and vote this year. It's very, very important.